All right. So yesterday we created the data factory. We studied its components. We walked through the most of the options that data factory has provided or data factory have. And after that, we created a simple copy activity which copied the data from our ADS account to our same ADS account. So we can place a different ADS account or a storage account or any other destination that we want to in this copy activity. So let me go back to resource group. This is the resource group that is used. So in session ADLS, block containers. Yeah. So yesterday when we completed our session, we have successfully executed the copy activity and the file, we have copied the file into the, just give me a second, destination, open the destination. We have copied the file into ADF copy container, ADF copy folder with this name. So we go to the ADF copy container, ADF copy folder, we'll find the same file. Okay. Anyone has any question on what we did yesterday, how the copy activity works, or any of the options that we have gone through yesterday? अगर किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन हो yesterday के सेशन में, तो you can go ahead and ask now. You can put the question in the chat as well. That is completely fine. I'm not hearing any questions or not seeing anything in chat. So means you understood the fact clearly how the copy activity works. Now, all of you have your data factory window open and this page is open. The one that we created yesterday, the pipeline that we created yesterday. All of you have that pipeline open with you. Okay. What you can do is just click on debug. As soon as you click on debug, it will start executing, refresh it, and it will show succeed. Okay. See here, this is the file that was copied yesterday, 14th October, around 9 o'clock. Okay. Now if you refresh this, we'll see the file copied today, 15th October, 7:07 a.m. Okay. What does it tell? It's if the file, whatever data you are copying, okay, if that name, that object already exists in a storage container, okay, the data factory will overwrite it. It will not append the data, that is add the data onto your existing file, or it will not create a new file. It will overwrite the file if the file already exists. Okay, you see here in our destination, that is sync, open this. Okay, this file was already existing here. So when we ran that, it overwrite the existing file. Okay. Any question till this point or any doubt in understanding what is happening here, what scenario we tested just now? No questions. Let's go back to the copy activity. In sync, there is a copy behavior option. We drop down it, right? These are the options available. Okay. These options have no relation to how the data will be overwritten. Okay. These are for most of the options are for zip files. Okay. So when we see the one scenario with the zip file, I will show you this option. Okay. Any other questions? If no questions, then close all of the open activities here, data sets or pipeline. We're going to create a new pipeline today. Okay. So click on plus one second. Yes. So how do we create a new pipeline? It's we click on the plus option available here. You see multiple options. Out of that, select the pipeline. Okay. Click on pipeline. Pipeline. Now, these properties are pipeline properties. And the below settings or below properties are also pipeline properties. The right sides are basically your names and description. The downside, the properties available downwards are basically parameters, variables, and settings. Let's give the pipeline name. Okay. What we are going to create this pipeline is for, we are going to create this pipeline to copy data from a SQL source. Okay. To either data lake or to again a SQL source. So let's do it as a copy data from SQL database. Okay. We're going to copy a data from Azure SQL database. So then you can click on here and you minimize that. Now, since you are going to copy your data, which activity should I choose? अब अगर मुझे डेटा कॉपी करना होगा तो कौन सी एक्टिविटी लेनी पड़ेगी?
pipeline copy
राइट, वो कहाँ पर होगी कॉपी एक्टिविटी?
move and transfer
and transfer.
राइट. Suppose you don't know where the activity resides. Okay, because there are n number of options and n number of activities available. Okay, you can directly search here like this and you will get it. Okay, now since we know it is here, we click on here and get it. Now name this copy activity. Copy to store. Go with this first. Now, source. Do we have the existing data set which is connecting to or which has the object from a database? कल जब हमने पाइपलाइन क्रिएट की तब हमने दो डेटा सेट्स बनाए. ये दोनों डेटा सेट्स कहाँ पर पॉइंट कर रहे हैं?
source एक सिंक में और एक source
ADLS.
दैट इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ये दोनों डेटा सेट ADLS पॉइंट कर रहे हैं, राइट? अभी जो हम पाइपलाइन बना रहे हैं, that pipeline is going to copy data from Azure SQL database. तो उसके लिए हमारे पास डेटा सेट अवेलेबल है क्या?
No.
Do we have a data set which is connecting to Azure SQL database?
No.
So we need to create a new data set. How do we create a new data set? From here, you can create a new data set or you can create it from here as well. Okay, there's a data set option. Okay. Now let's click on new. Select for SQL. You'll get Azure SQL database here. Click on that. Continue. Okay. So I'm going back to my resource group session. Here I'm looking for my Azure SQL database. इसमें Azure SQL database, इसमें server. So I'm just clicking on that. Okay. Copying the name to keep under here. Okay. Now link service. Do we have a connection or do we have a link service created to connect to a SQL database? Yesterday we created one link service where it was connecting.
ADLS.
So, right. So now we need to create a new link service which will connect to a SQL database. Now here, drop down, click on new. Let's create a link service. Do we need to change the integration runtime or can we use the same integration runtime?
No need.
These are the same.
Why can we use the same integration runtime?
It is because we want cloud.
Yes. Because the source that we are going to connect is a Azure SQL database, which is already residing into the Azure cloud, right? So it is not residing into any on-premises system, or it's not an on-premises source, or neither it is residing onto a different cloud provider service. Okay, that's why we can use the auto-resolved integration runtime. Okay, now here, yesterday we went with manual method. So in data lake, in manual method, we have to pass the account URL, the connection string method. And then we have to pass the account key to connect to the data lake account. In the SQL database, when you click on enter manually, you need to pass the server name. Okay, how do you find the server name? Go back to your SQL server. Okay, if you have access to the SQL server, click on here. This is your connection string, server name. Go back here, my server.database.windows.net. Come back here, server database.windows.net. Click on here, it is copied and you paste it here, it will work. Okay, let me show you. Now database name. Where do you get the database name? This is the server properties. You are out right now in SQL Server. Look at here. Okay. To see the database, you have to go back one step, or you can directly see it here. If you scroll down like this, you can directly see it here. Okay. Or you can go back one step here, and this is the SQL Server where we clicked on. This is the SQL database. We click on here, you can see the same server name. Okay. But your database name is this. And you can see, observe carefully, the property here is a SQL database. Okay. Anyone has any doubts in understanding server and database? Okay. So now we'll copy the database name, paste it here. Okay. Now authentication type. Let it be SQL authentication. Under username, provide the username that you have given while creating the SQL database and the password. scroll down, click on test connection. The connection will be successful. Okay. Now I'm not going to create this link service with this method because we actually yesterday talked about how we enter the manual details and how the connection is like how to create a link service with manual details. So I'll just click on Azure subscription. Okay. From Azure subscription, I'm going to use a drop down, select my subscription. I will then select the server name, then database name. Authentication I'm going to keep same, password is same. It is successful. Now, when you have access to your SQL server, right? When you have access to that database or SQL server, you can use this subscription method. If you don't have access to that SQL server or anything, or the database that you are trying to connect, you have to go with the enter manually method. Okay. अगर वो SQL सर्वर या डेटाबेस उसका आपको एक्सेस है, मैंने से एक्सेस है मतलब आप उसको Azure पोर्टल से जाके देख सकते हो अंडर रिसोर्स लो, and you can click on that and you can access it. That is when you have access to that. अगर आपको उसका वैसे टाइप का एक्सेस है तो ही आप उसको from Azure subscription access कर सकते हो. If you don't have access to that SQL server, it does not reside under a resource group or subscription that you have access to, then you have to use the enter manually method. Okay. क्योंकि आपको सब्सक्रिप्शन का एक्सेस नहीं है तो जब भी आप ये ड्रॉप डाउन लोगे आपको या तो सब्सक्रिप्शन नहीं आएगा या फिर वो सर्वर देने दिखेगा. ठीक है. तो उस टाइम पे आप क्या करोगे, एंटर मैनुअल में जाओगे, SQL सर्वर के कनेक्शन डिटेल्स पास करोगे और आप लिंक सर्विस बनाओ. ठीक है. किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन या डाउट इसमें? Everyone is able to successfully test the connection. ओके. आप सबका कनेक्शन सक्सेसफुल हुआ है तो क्लिक ऑन क्रिएट. इट विल क्रिएट अ लिंक सर्विस which will appear here. Okay, you see the link service appearing here. Okay, now when the link service appears here, you see the option table name. Okay, click on the drop down and you will see the table names that are available into that database. Okay, select any table whichever you want to. For example, I'll go with the sales order detail table. Okay, and now here you see there are import schema options from connection store and none. You can click on anything, connection store or none. It is absolutely fine. If you click on connection store, it will also work here. If you click on none, it will also work here. Okay, so to show you, I'm going with the connection store option. Click OK. Before we go ahead and see these details, in source, we created the source data set. Open that source data set. Okay. When you open this, you have a preview data option. If you preview that, you will see the data available in that table. Okay. Everyone is with me? Any doubts or question till this point? क्या कोई समझने में कोई टॉपिक आपको डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है इस चीज में? ठीक है. Now once you see the preview data, okay. Now under table, this table we selected from the drop down there. Okay. Remember, now the sales LT is the schema. Sales order detail is the table. Okay. We can change the table name again here also from the drop down. So for example, I click on this close, I drop down and I can change the table name from here as well. Okay. Now the second option. If you click on enter manually, two fields will appear here, sales LT and sales order detail. Again, here, when you say enter manually, it means if if under drop down you are not able to see the table, or second is you don't have the permission on that database to list the tables. Okay. In that case, if you have the table name with you, आपको क्या करना है, यहाँ पे आके सेल्स LT स्कीमा नेम टाइप करना है, एंड जो भी टेबल का नाम है सेल्स ऑर्डर डिटेल सेल्स ऑर्डर टेबल वो टाइप करना है, एंड देन चेक, click on preview data. If your table name and everything is correct, you will be able to see the data. If it is incorrect, it will show invalid object name. Let me go back and see sales order detail. Again, click here. Okay. सबको समझ में आ गया ये पॉइंट? No questions. Then you click on the schema here. See here, import schema. Under that, you already see the column names of the table and data type. How did it got here is when we created the data set. So when we created a data set, at that time there was option import from connection store, right? We have selected that option, we clicked on that, and that's why we got the schema of that table imported here. Yesterday, जब CSV फाइल से वो schema read कर रहे थे, तो it was failing because CSVs are not structured files. But database tables are structured files. They have fixed schema. You don't need to scan all the rows to understand the schema. Okay, it's already there in their table definition. तो इसीलिए यहाँ पर जब हम वो ऑप्शन चूज करते हैं तो बाय डिफॉल्ट स्कीमा इंपोर्ट हो जाता है. अगर वहाँ पे मैं नो क्लिक करूंगा तो यहाँ पर वो स्कीमा नहीं आएगा. ठीक है. अगर आपको ये स्कीमा यहाँ पर नहीं चाहिए तो आप क्लिक ऑन क्लियर एंड इट विल गो. ठीक है. Now let's go back to the connection. Go to copy activity. Okay. Now here under copy data, we'll study these options later. Now click on to the destination, that is sync. Under sync, okay, if you click on drop down, you'll see the data set that we have created. If you click on that data set and open it, it will again show the same table. Since it has the same table, we can't use the same data set. Okay, so click on sync, click on new, search for SQL, Azure SQL database, continue. Sure. Okay, we have given the data set name. Now under property, sorry, under link services, we can use the same link service because link service is pointing to a server and a database. It is not pointing to a table. Data set is pointing to table. Clear? Again, I'm just repeating the same thing that we discussed yesterday. If you remember or understand the difference between dataset and link service, then you will get it clearly that why we need to create a different dataset, but not a link service here. यहाँ पर हमने एक नया डेटासेट बनाया, बट हम वही लिंक सर्विस जो हमने पहले बनाई 10 मिनट पहले, वही हम यूज कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. आप सबको ये कंसेप्ट क्लियर होना चाहिए कि हम नई लिंक सर्विस क्यों नहीं बना रहे और नया डेटा सेट क्यों बना रहे हैं. एवरीवन क्लियरली अंडरस्टैंड दिस?
Yes, sir.
Now, under table name, leave this as blank. Unless you select a table, it will be always none. Okay, so leave this as a blank and click on OK. Okay. As soon as you click on OK, your sync is complete, right? Now, in the destination, while in the sync, we haven't selected a table. If you open this, you won't see a table here in the sync data set. Okay. Let's go back to copy activity. Now, Data Factory provides you an option, a table option, where it automatically creates a table. Okay. You can either use an existing table or it automatically creates a table. Okay. For now, we'll use the auto create table option. You click on auto create table option. Nothing will happen. You just selected that. You need to go to sync, open the sync, and provide the table. Let's say I'm going to provide DPO cells. What was the source to order data? Order data. Okay. This is the table name that I provide. If you preview this, it says invalid object name because this table does not exist right now in our database. That's why it is throwing error. Did I selected database? Okay, fine. Now, coming back to our copy activity again. Okay. The pre copy script write batch timeout. We don't need to concerned about this activity now. So all of you are here till this point. Okay. Now go to mapping. Click on import schemas. See, when you import the schemas right now, on the left hand side, you see the source schema. Okay. And on the right hand side, you see the destination schema. This is the schema of the table. Left hand side source, right hand side destination. Okay. Now you see exactly the left hand side schema is exactly sorry, the right hand side schema is exactly same as the left hand side schema. Okay, there are no changes because we have selected the auto create table option. Okay, this property is not mandatory to import. You can clear and work with that also, and you can import and work with that also. Okay, now if you are ready, let's validate it. No syntactical errors. Okay. Now click on debug. Meanwhile, this is running. Let me check one thing. So what I did right now is I'm just closing it so that you'll understand.